Good morning and welcome to my hobby bench. As you see the smile slowly fade from my face, I would like you to take a look at these images from the weather widget on my phone. Yes, it is cold as hell here, and I am so ready to play with engines outside that what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with one inside today. So last month, Jimmy had sent me some Top Flight red monocoat for my Sig Cadet, which you all saw me use and do some covering with. He also sent 2 Rossi engines, which was a huge shock, surprise, pleasure, bonus. And I've been thinking about those Rossi engines ever since. And I've got one of them here on the table right now, and it's the Rossi 60. So I pulled it out and I was looking at it. I was like, I'm not turning it over top dead center. There's no plug in it, but it just kind of feels gummy. And I was like, you know what? Kind of gummy engine gives me an excuse to do a look inside, which I've been wanting to do with this engine anyway. So I am going to do the unthinkable, and I'm not going to completely disassemble this engine. I am going to take the head, carb, and the rear cover off so that we can all take a look inside at this engine, because this is the closest thing I can do right now to having fun with engines, aside from reassembling the 1 or 2 that I have left to reassemble. So the thing with this Rossi engine is the only thing I need is this little nut driver here. It's a 6mm nut driver to loosen that nut on the carb pinch, and then this slotted bit, because everything in here is slot. So let me see if I was successful by loosening that thing up. There we go. And I take this off simply so I can kind of look at the inside of the crank shaft there and see if there's any kind of gunk on it. There's an O-ring sitting right there, which is kind of cool. Let me go get a flashlight. Okay, back with the flashlight. I just want to kind of... Okay, so it does look like there's been some running on this engine, because it looks like there's some varnish. Yes. So this is clearly not a new engine. I'm going to go grab a Q-tip real quick. So what I'm doing is turning this to where I see some of this varnish looking stuff, and I'm just going to see if it will readily come off of here. And there is some of it coming off. So what I think I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab a little bit of air tool oil. And drip a little air tool oil on there. Let that maybe kind of do a little bit of work on this thing, and maybe here in a few minutes I'll be able to get a little bit more of that off. So there's our carb. Does our carb have any kind of... Let's just put a little drop or 2 of air tool oil. Easier said than done. Easier done than said. Air tool oil in there too. So yes, this does have a little bit of run time on it, but that's kind of what we're doing here, is to check and see if we can see how much. So the thing is, I know that this head is like a 2-piece head. This anodized piece will come off, and then there'll be like a button there. The thing that kind of sucks about this is I had to get a drive bit that's wide enough this way to fit those slots really good, but then as the width of the bit goes up here, it also increases this way, which puts me right at the edge here, because some of these anodized fins right on the outside of the corners here, corners of a square, corners of a circle, are very thin. And if I don't keep my drive really positioned properly there, I could knock one of those off, and I certainly don't want to do that. I guess I could do it like this so maybe the camera wouldn't refocus. Oh, that's really kind of frustrating. I'm going to go down to a smaller width head just because I can spin these out faster this way, I think. There we go. Alright, so our head's off, and here's that nice little button. We just kind of get pry it off with our fingernail here. Or if I can grip it good. Okay, I don't want to screw that shim up. Okay, so here's the little button, and there's a shim there. I don't know if there's another shim here. Kind of looks like there is. Yep, there is. 2 head shims on this thing to reduce compression. Look at that. I mean, if that had runtime on it, boy, it's very light. It's like 1 run. And Jimmy might have actually said that to me, but I don't know. If you did, Jimmy, and I forgot, I apologize. I just put a little bit of oil in there just for the heck of it. So that thing looks, God bless. That thing is not coming close to top dead center. You know, I'm not sure if it's really necessary to look in the rear cover, but I'm going to. Because I want to see what kind of seal they have, if it's like an O-ring seal, or if there's a seal at all, or if it's a paper seal. I don't see evidence of a seal or a gasket. This feels much better to take those screws off this way. Yeah, this is, man, I'd really like to get this engine out on the stand. That and a whole bunch of others. Oh, wow. If that's got a, probably feels like it's got an O-ring seal. Man, see if I can kind of tap this a little bit to motivate it. What I'm doing is I'm kind of trying to tap it right on this corner and make it slide one way or the other. Because otherwise I don't think I'm going to be able to... Oh, there we go. Okay. Well, it's got no ring seal. That's what I was expecting, or not expecting. I guess I was kind of expecting that. Okay, so here, look at the inside of that. So you can see the evidence of crud. Yep. Quite a bit of stuff on there. Yeah, there's a nice little caramel glaze on everything in there. Yeah, that's kind of, I can see gunk in there. I don't really want to take this whole thing apart at all, but there is some dried caster, it looks like, on the back end of the counterweight, which is a solid counterweight. It looks like it's not, you know, milled out, or if it's milled out, it's milled out in the front. Yeah, that's there's stuff on there. I see stuff, and it's not readily coming off. Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of, you see this gunk in here? I think you'll be able to see that gunk in there. That's all just dried caster. I wonder if I should just throw this oil in here and heat this thing up. Reliquify that stuff and see if I will become liquid again. Let me grab my heat gun and glove. Okay, so I am going to be targeting those globs of stuff that you see right there. I'm going to see if I can do anything with that stuff. Can at least get it to not completely turn into liquid, but it's at least moving now. Should move all this stuff out of the way and put this on here so that this stuff can drain out. Just trying to mop it up a little bit with the Q-tip now. Did I bring 2 Q-tips over here? Yeah, I got another one. Yeah, so this is one of those ones that, you know, maybe I should drop it in the Marvel Mystery Oil bath, let it sit in there, and maybe it'll loosen that stuff up, and then I can kind of just let it empty out. I don't think the O-rings are out. I think if I just drop this whole thing in the Marvel Mystery Oil right now, as it is, we're not going to harm anything. In fact, we're only going to super lubricate it all. So that's going to conclude. That's going to conclude the inside look at this engine, because what I think I'm going to do is what I just said. I think I'm just going to go drop this in the Marvel Mystery Oil vat I've got over there and just let it sit and see if it'll loosen up these other little dried caster areas on the back of the connecting rod, and maybe it'll fill the engine up, and maybe I can just drain it out, heat it up, and maybe more stuff will come out. So that's what I'm going to do. So anyway, there was your look inside of this beautiful Rossi 60 engine, and quite honestly, I'm glad I did this now. I'm probably going to grab the 65 with the black head and do the same thing to it too. So thank you for watching.